Hey guys, it's me, Rena from Snowworks Crochet, and welcome to today's video of Fate, the Dice Saga. Now, I've had this idea for quite a while, actually, where I have been wanting to use D&D dice to decide what colors I use to make something. And so I had been inspired by Michelle Jasek's 24 Days of Granny Squares series that she did back in around Christmas time. And more recently, I saw my friend Killian over at Bunny Maple do a roll for scrap, roll for bag series that they've been doing, where they essentially use like D&D dice to decide what colors they use for their crochet creations. And all of the things that came out of that sound so fun. Now, I have a lot of cotton. Because I've had this idea for a while, I've already organized my cotton yarn in preparation for this video and for potentially future videos along the way as well. But I'm not going to do a deep dive into the colors I picked and like what I did and how I organized them, but I'll show you a little bit. When I say I have a lot of cotton, I mean I have a lot of cotton. For context, a while ago when I first started my Etsy shop, I decided to basically buy every single color of the Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton, the KNC Essential Cotton, and the Premier Worsted Sprout Cotton, just to kind of like mix and match and see what colors would make really cute bandanas. Well, here's the thing. One, even though all the yarns are basically comparable and could be used as one-to-one matches for everything, the colors are not. It's almost as if there's this conspiracy for all of the yarn companies having their own custom colors, which probably is true now that I think about it. So there's very little overlap between all those brands in terms of the actual colors, even if the yarn is the same. So for those of you looking for one-to-one replacements of the KNC Essential Cotton now that Joann's is going out of business, there might be like maximum 1 to 2 color alternatives for all of the KNC Essential Cotton yarn. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is that I have way too much cotton now, and I'm kind of overwhelmed of what to do with it. I have made a couple of tapestries here and there with the cotton, and you know, because I now have a stash of cotton, it's kind of great for that, but considering how much I have of this cotton, it's not my favorite. So I've decided this is the perfect yarn to use for my Fate the Dice Saga. I kind of decided to organize these cotton yarns by type, kind of similar to what Michelle Jasek did for her video, where she has it organized by warm tones, cool tones. Like for example, if she rolls like this number, it's going to be a warm tone, and then she rolls the dice again, and then she picks like 1 through 20 of like what color she uses. I'm going to do something similar to that because I have so much of it. But I've decided to organize it by warm tones, cool tones, neutral tones, and variegated. These are my cool tones. You might notice the yellow here. I chose to organize it more so whether it's a cool undertone rather than a cool color. So obviously there's like blues and greens, but there's this gold which I felt like had a cool undertone. I also did the same thing with my warm colors, where even, for example, this blue, it's a very bright blue, and blue is a cool color, but it is so bright that I would actually consider this a warm blue. Not shown in this video are my variegated colors and basically all my whites and grays. I don't really feel like getting all of that out, not in a mood. I do have all my things organized on an Excel doc, and let me briefly explain how I'm going to do this. Maybe in a future video I'll go through one by one which color is which, but in today's video, not gonna do that, but I will explain a little bit of my dice rules. So, bought some D20 dice right here. I've decided that I'm going to use a D4 and a D20. And the pattern I am choosing for this specific video will be a dice bag, because how fitting, right? Using dice to create a dice bag. The numbers 1 through 4 will decide whether I use warm tone, cool tone, neutral tone, or variegated yarn. And then the D20 die will determine what color in that category that is. Those are the basic rules. I absolutely love how the 5mm hook is always the hook I lose the most, but I grabbed my 4mm furls hook, which I think would basically do the same effect since my gauge is always off with this hook. Now, for the sake of the dice bag, I'm going to be using the Geoprint drawstring bag by Rose Obam that I found on Ravelry. There's a paid version on Ravelry, but I also just clicked on the free version with ads on her blog. So I'm just gonna do that pattern. Let's roll for the base of the bag. Let's roll 3. 3, according to my Excel sheet, is a cool toned. Now let's roll this D20 dice. 15. Okay, so 15, cool 15. So that is the Can-C Cotton Golden Coast. This color. So this will be the base of my bag. Oh no, it's 10 rounds. I don't like crocheting in the round. I don't like circles. I have successfully finished the first part of this bag. Now it's time for me to work on the color chart portion of the bag. And I have a feeling this is gonna be pretty small, but that's kind of what I wanted anyway, just like a small little bag to carry dice in the first place. But without further ado, let's roll the next color so that way I can work on the next row. And I'm gonna be rolling my dice in this thing here, just to kind of contain it a little bit. But yeah, let's roll this. I got a 3, which is another cool color. And I rolled a 14 here, which is, I love this cotton French lilac. This color right here. It's interesting because this has you alternate double crochet and single crochets, which I think is kind of odd. I guess probably to establish the base of the bag. First row here done. Let's roll for our second color. I'm gonna roll these at the same time because it just makes my life easier. 3, which is cool, and then 4, which is magenta. This color right here. I'm done with those rows, and now I'm going to start the tapestry piece. So that means I need 2 colors for the mosaic pattern. Let's roll the first color. 1, which is neutral. 18, which is sequoia. We got sequoia right here. Now let's roll the second color. 3, 3. So that is a cool tone, and that is going to be hunter green. Hunter green. I've been rolling a lot of cool tones recently. So I got caught up talking to my sister for a little bit and forgot to film the rolling of dice for like 4 colors, but this is what the bag is looking like so far. It's coming out very interesting looking. I'm a little bit unsure how I feel about it. For lack of better words, it's kind of ugly because these color choices are pretty whack, but that's what happens when you have way too much cotton and you leave picking colors up to choice. So that's just how it is. So while I was working on this bag, I actually talked to my sister on the phone for quite a while. I was catching up with her on a lot of things because her baby was just born, which is really cool. So I'm an auntie now, and I might actually have a chance to see my new nephew when I travel down to Texas for a work thing, but it's close enough to my family. I was thinking of swinging by and saying hi, but it will depend on just timing of things because I'm going down for a training and that is like an hour and a half away from my family, but we'll see. Another fun thing that all the photos that they've shared with me so far, that baby looks like a bald old man. It's so funny. I think there was like a meme going around where everyone's saying babies just look like old people despite the fact that they're a baby, especially since they're born all wrinkly and stuff. And this baby has like my brother-in-law's hairline, which looks like a receding hairline. And what's also interesting is that this kid has like all of my sister's features, but ended up with brown hair and blue eyes, which seems kind of unlikely. I don't know if you know this, but blue eyes are a recessive trait. My eyes and my sister's eyes are like black. I think I can only see my pupils if I look in the mirror really closely and the sun is hitting my face at just the right angle. So the fact that this baby has blue eyes is interesting. We'll see if it goes away after a little bit, because I think that's what happens. They might be born with some features and then they fade away after a while, but I don't know. I thought that part was interesting and kind of unexpected. It also makes me wonder what my kids are going to look like. This color work portion is done. Now let's roll a dice for the next color. 3, right here, which is a cool tone, another cool tone, and 14, which is French lilac again. Guess we will be getting a lot of French lilac. I will say what's nice about this bag is that it's fairly quick. Was expecting this to be smaller because of all the color work, but I think because most of this pattern is actually double crochet versus single crochet, it's going by a lot quicker. And I like that because it means I can be done with this quicker. I think most of the color work I've done so far has always been single crochets. So it's kind of interesting to see a double crochet color work piece just in the first place. Especially for me, I've always found single crochets harder to do than double crochets. Double crochets are just faster and smoother for me to do. And if anything, I try to avoid making things that are single crochet. It's like reason number 5 of why I don't do amigurumi outside of a variety of other things. I do like this pattern. It's like small and cute, but also fairly quick. The only thing that was a pain was the bottom of it, and honestly you can see the mistake on the swirl here. This just is proof that I'm not a big fan of single crochets, especially in the round. They're awful. Somehow I could never figure out like where to put my stitches when I first start a row. I don't know. It's a thing. Yeah, this bag is fairly quick. Honestly, I'd like to get this done either today or tomorrow before I have to leave on my business trip again. I got this row done. Let's roll for the next row. 2, which is a warm color, and 12. And 12, according to my spreadsheet, is sage. This one's partially used. I think after this I'm gonna have to recake a couple of skeins, which is perfectly fine. So I know a lot of people, when they do scrap projects like this, they actually intentionally pick colors that would look good together, and I considered that, but then I remembered I'm not very good at color picking, which seems ironic because I'm in a creative hobby and craft, but my taste in colors is actually pretty bad. I remember even when I was like in elementary school, middle school, I would take art classes, and the thing I always hated the most was coloring things because I could never make it look good. When I was young, when I wasn't immediately good at something, I would just give up and not work at it. So
that's kind of why I never got good at color matching or color theory or like palette picking and all that. And the thing is, that's like really important in making literally anything. So it's kind of, I'm not very good at it, and I kind of had to learn it a little bit as I got older as an adult, because when I was younger, I did do a lot of drawing, but I would always do black and white drawings, because I was really into anime manga, and I just really liked the look of black and white comic pages versus full color. It's kind of funny because with the online space now and everyone's making digital comics, posting them online, there's still a charm of reading a comic in black and white, because I find that color, especially if the artist is like me and not very good at coloring pages, it looks wrong. And obviously it's one of those things that comes with time and practice and, you know, getting good. I actually feel like some art styles, not all art styles, but some art styles, color actually detracts from the appeal of their art style. There's actually a pretty popular comic that I read when, like, probably when I first graduated college. It was like an ongoing webtoon. And I remember I would read this webtoon, all of the pages, all of the like photo, like all the drawings were colored in, but I would look at the artist's initial sketches and look at the line art and think, wow, this line art looks amazing. But then once I saw the full colored image, I'm like, it's not that she's not skilled at coloring. It's not that the color choices are wrong, but like her art style, like black and white, is just more elevated versus when she colors it in, even though people perceive it to be elevated, it looks off. But I also know I'm like the minority opinion of this, because I know most people, when they want to read comics, they prefer colorful pages. I don't know. I've always found more appeal with like simple color palettes in art, and also just more like subtle coloring versus like highly detailed coloring. A comic I really like the color aesthetic of is Cheese in a Trap, which is a Korean comic. I really like the color shading of that, because it's one of those things where it's very skillfully done, but it's also very simple at the same time. It's hard to explain. I don't know. That's my random tangent about color choices and why I'm bad at color picking. But, you know, when you use dice, it doesn't matter, because you are just leaving it up to fate, you know. This is Fate the Dice Saga after all. Okay, layer done. And then we have one more like color work piece, and then we'll have 2 more color changes. So I'm gonna roll the next 2 colors. 4, which is variegated, and this says 9, which is I love this cotton harvest hues. Also, I'm like 99.9% sure I lost a couple of my variegated yarns, because I looked over on my shelf where I had them all and it wasn't 20. So I might, if there are a couple of items that I rolled and just had to re-roll, that's why. That's color number 1. Let's do color number 2. 1, which is a neutral, and 17. 17, which is, I love this cotton, khaki. These are the two colors I will be using on the next color work portion. You know, the thing I hate about these skeins is that there's no easy center pull. Now, this might blend together a little bit, just due to the fact that there's green here and on this row, but it's a variegated yarn, so it might prove me wrong. Yeah, I should have flipped the Harvest Hues into khaki, but I'm really hoping it'll look okay. I mean, this bag is already a hot mess anyway, so does it really matter?
This row is complete. Let's roll for next color. Three and 11. That is K and C Rainforest. 4 and 15, which is this color.
I finished the bag portion of the dice bag, and I'm not gonna lie, this is looking pretty ugly, which I guess it was kind of a luck of the draw. It's chaotic, and I like how chaotic it is, but at the same time, it's like an ugly chaotic. But for the sake of what I need it for, it doesn't really have to be pretty anyway. And it was a way to use up cotton and pick colors I would have never picked anyway. The one color combo I do actually like is this purple and gray. I think those two work really well together. I'm gonna roll the dice one more time to figure out the color of the strap, and then we'll be done. 2, which is a warm color, and 7. Mainstays lime green. So this will be my strap color, and I'll put it all together. I'm gonna chain an arbitrary amount because it's a drawstring bag, so it doesn't really matter. And it's done. There's still a couple of ends I still need to weave in, but that's a problem for not now. And it's the perfect little dice bag holder. So next time I need my dice, I will be using this bag, and it's super cute. If you want to make this pattern not in chaotic colors, I highly encourage you to check out the pattern below. I have linked it down in the description. And with that, I will be concluding my video here. Thank you for watching, and look forward to more Fate the Dice Saga videos because I really like making these. Bye!